Councilmember Elise Chacon.
Here.
Councilmember Luana Martin.
Here.
Mayor, there is a quorum present. And for the record, Councilmember Camarillo Smith was not able to be here because yeah, I know I think there's an issue.
Yeah.
But Councilmember Camarillo Smith was not able to be here today because she had a prior family commitment.
Okay, thank you. What is on? Right?
Okay.
Okay. Okay, I just want to start by telling everybody thank you for coming. This has been a major topic in Aransas Pass going on back for decades. And everyone up here wants everyone's input on large ticket. Can't hear back there still?
Get closer to the mic.
Any better? Okay. Okay. And with that being said, before we begin today's town hall discussion, I would like to take make a brief statement to ensure that the discussion remains productive and consistent with Texas law. The purpose of today's meeting is to allow the public an opportunity to express their views regarding short-term rentals at Carbon Brown Harbor and other matters of community interest. However, members of the City Council must comply with certain legal limitations during this discussion. Members of the council cannot discuss or disclose anything that may have been discussed in the executive session, as those discussions are confidential under the Texas Open Meetings Act. Council members must also avoid discussion any ongoing negotiations with potential investors or developers, as those matters may involve confidential business negotiations that could impact the city's legal and financial interest. In addition, council members should not identify or reference any potential investors or developers by name and should avoid discussing any existing lease agreements currently in place at Carbon Brown Harbor. The focus of today's discussion should remain on general policy considerations and public input regarding short-term rentals and harbor development. We welcome respectful public input and appreciate everyone participating in this community discussion. Okay. Do you have a statement also, Randy?
Just to make a statement also, the purpose of this town hall meeting is to give residents the opportunity to share their thoughts regarding the possibility of short-term rentals at Carbon Brown Harbor. As many of you have seen, this topic has generated a range of opinions across our community, and this meeting is intended to provide opportunity for everyone to be heard. We welcome comments both in support and in opposition on this matter. Our goal is to listen, gather input, and better understand the perspective of our residents. We will first receive comments regarding the short-term rentals topic, and afterwards we will open the floor for comments on other items of public interest. Each speaker will have 3 minutes to share their comments. Thank you again for taking your time to participate in this important community meeting.
Okay. I'd like to make a statement. There's been a lot of things online, and so there's some things that need to be addressed, and I just want to start by, it doesn't matter how my words are twisted by some in here. My decisions are not based on what one citizen wants or one group of citizens wants. They are based on the consensus of what all citizens want and what is best for the citizens and the city as a whole. A lot of the citizens are not here today, but have reached out and let me know how they feel about STRs. Many are business owners, and they feel they can't publicly voice an opinion due to retaliation. I personally don't blame them. I daily see the attacks online, but as business owners, they see their sales decline. They see the need for this town to generate more revenue and the need to give families a place to stay when coming here. Bottom line is, we are a pass-through town, and if we ever want to generate more money in this city, we have to do something different. We've looked at where the ordinances are, and we've looked at where they should be, and we have worked hard to compromise to appease all the citizens and to also help generate money so that we don't have to raise taxes on our citizens. Let's generate revenue from the outsiders so that we don't have to raise taxes on locals. I love this town. I bought into this town over 20 years ago. Not much has changed. We have traded a Bell's for a Harbor Freight, and that's about it. Whether we allow short-term rentals in the harbor or not, it's not going to change my life much. But we can generate more revenue in this town, and it will change our children's lives, our grandchildren's lives, and all those that follow. Right now, the city offers them nothing. I personally would love for my son to want to live here and to raise a family here and to be close to here, or at least at the minimum to want to come back and visit me here. But the way the city is now, there is no reason for him to. I want that to change. I want the city to have the infrastructure that it should have had years ago. I want it to be something that all of us can be proud of. And I want this town to be a town that everyone is proud of. And with that, I think that y'all have the right to know where we are financially. And we are not in a good state. Our sales tax have been down consecutively for almost 2 years. Year to date, right now, our sales tax is down $72,000. Our water sales are down $178,097. And if it continues, it'll be down over $400,000 for the year. Our harbor fund lease payments are down $87,000 for the year. What all these funds do is they pay for our infrastructure. They pay for the running of the city. They pay our employees. Right now, we're in a cautionary phase. We have asked all of the heads of the departments to please buckle their belts and to tighten them, to not do excessive spending. If we don't bring in more money, the next phase will be that we will have to do a freeze on hiring. And then after that, there will be layoffs. So with that, I think it's important. There's been a lot about the STRs on the harbor, but it hasn't been given in full context. If y'all look at this big map at the front, that is what is actually in place right now in our ordinances and what is allowed. So while people are in here and other councilmen that are crying about, I don't want beds on the harbor, this is what's in place in your ordinances. If it was that important to them, why haven't they changed it? Because I have been working with staff and we've been looking at other options. And so the other map you hold in your hand is what we are looking at and what we are hoping to change, that would change it from allowing 427 condos, 206 single-family residents. That's a total of 633 residential places that are allowed right now on our harbor that has not been changed. What we are trying to do to compromise, to try to be revenue, is to change it to allow 50 short-term rentals so that we can give people to stop just driving through our town. We want them to come here to stay. We want them to play. We want them to spend their money. We want them to shop. Otherwise, if y'all want this town to stay the way it is, that is fine. But please do not complain when we cannot fix your infrastructure. We cannot put in new roads, because the tax money that we bring in right now, it only sustains what we have now. It doesn't sustain, it's not gonna build anything else. We will stay exactly where we are. We will have the same potholes, we will have the same dirt roads, we will have the same pipes that break every year. That choice will be up to y'all. I'm sorry,
Did you have something, Ann? No.
you wanna say anything?
Okay, all right, well, I guess we'll go ahead and open the floor for discussions on short-term rentals at Combine Harbor. So if anybody has anything they want to say, please come up to the podium.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Leroy Terrio. I'm a resident voter of Aransas Pass and pastor of Generations Church. I want to thank the council for hearing the citizens on the Con Brown Harbor development proposal. The proposal to develop Con Brown Harbor presents with definite challenges. The harbor was once a prominent place of commerce. Shortly after the city's founding in 1909, the harbor was soon bustling with shipping vessels sailing in and out of the Grand Harbor. Families flourished, homes were built, a thriving community was forged on hard work and strong family values. In short, the success of the harbor was strongly reflected throughout the city. Sadly, those days of economic prominence are long gone, leaving a harbor that once supplied the city with major cash flow being an economic shadow of times past. And yet, the history remains. The opportunity and location of potential cash flow remains. A history that could be taught to our descendants through an on-site education center, a history that has also brought us since 1948 an annual Shrimperie Festival, a potential cash flow that courses through the city on the way to Port Aransas, a cash flow in the way of growing families traveling through the city that can be diverted to the heart of downtown and visit a developed harbor complete with full-service restaurants, outside activity areas, and yes, a select amount of short-term rentals that provide outside revenue and yes, outside investors an opportunity to give the city of Aransas Pass an extended look, if you will. Outside investment isn't necessarily a bad thing. With a small percentage of space offered to outside investors, we can inject much needed major cash flow into the city that is sure to be an economic stimulus to the dozens of small business entrepreneurs that call Aransas Pass home. Let us not lose sight of the consequences of inaction. According to the Texas Bond Review Board, this city is nearly at $29 million in debt and climbing. Some estimates have that around $40 million. But even the conservative estimates paint a grim picture without decisive action. Entire swaths of residential neighborhoods sit crumbling and even abandoned. Our streets are falling apart. Our school populations are dwindling. Our property taxes are being raised as the tax base dwindles and the cost of living increases. This council, this generation, has the opportunity, if you'll pardon the pun, to turn the tide in our favor. Again, in closing, currently the Port Aransas ferries carry over 2 million vehicles annually back and forth to Port Aransas. That's over 2 million largely missed opportunities by our city simply because we offer very little reason to stop. A developed harbor means developed city. It means better schools, better infrastructure, better opportunities and cash flow for small business entrepreneurs. It means we are following God's heart for us as a community, and that, according to Proverbs 13:22, is a leave-in inheritance for our children's children. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
How y'all doing today, Mayor? Everybody else? How y'all
Hey,
doing?
Andy.
City Manager. I don't think, in my opinion, I don't know, I'm not a realtor and I'm not an investor and I'm not a millionaire that wants to come in here and try to do what everybody wants to have done and some of us don't want to have done. In my opinion, having those things up there on the harbor ain't going to make or break us. Whatever we put on there is going to bring tax revenue. It's going to bring money. Money hasn't been brought in because there's nothing there. Now you start putting stuff on there, and then we're going to start getting tax money out of it, and then we can worry about the roads, and then we can worry about everything else that's been said that we don't, that's falling apart because we don't have it. That's what you're there for, to build it. It doesn't have to be what you're saying it has to be for it to work. I heard you when I came in. It doesn't take a condominium or short-term rentals to bring money here. It doesn't take that. What it does take for things to get going up there is for y'all to get up here and get in a room and settle what you got and work together. When this council came together, I know what was said. I was there. And then 9 months later, y'all can't look at each other because of that one thing, short-term rentals. Before that, we're having beers over here, having a drink over there, going to each other's houses and stuff, getting along. And because somebody came in here with the idea of doing this, look where we are. It doesn't matter what we build on there. Are we going to build it without accepting taxpayer money? Except for short-term rentals, whoever gets on there is going to pay taxes. It doesn't matter what's there. In my opinion, and nothing against nobody, I don't want it. I don't want it. Because I was here when I was this little, and my dad and my uncles and my brothers and all this family of mine worked there. My family was part of what brought that shrimping industry up over there, and all my friends and stuff. And if you start putting something that you can't see over, in my opinion, you're not going to see the beauty. The beauty was there when all them old buildings were there and all them shrimp boats were there. All the beauty was there. But in my opinion, if you cover it with some investors that want to put something there that we're probably not going to be able to keep track of. I don't know. But you start doing certain things to it that people don't want. They've been here a long time. They got roots deeper than some of y'all have that are up here wanting to do this. It's not good. You need to find out more about what's going on with the people that have been here. Like his dad. His dad's still here. My dad's not here no more. I said, but I'm getting up there in age, and I know a lot about that over there. I did a lot of hard work over there. So, in my opinion, I don't want it. And remember this, we can get tax money off of anything that's built there. It's not just short-term rentals or some kind of building that's gonna bring people in there. And we definitely don't need the upper end, in my opinion. Upper end, you put upper end in there, and they're gonna wanna start blocking that area off, fenced in, they're gonna close off the water. That's everywhere you go where they have high end. Can't go fishing, can't walk through there. If you cruise through there with your boat, put somebody like me to cruise by there in a boat at 10 o'clock at night. What are they gonna do? They're gonna call some Mexican over there with his boat coming through here. And I'm over there just trying to catch a fish. You know? For real. I've been going through that all my life. So, nothing gets high end. They made it up there on their own, but I'm on the lower end. And that's where that should remain. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Andy.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Renee Takor. I've been a resident in Aransas Pass now almost 10 years, and I can say one thing. You guys have been waiting a long time for this. It's been decades, 50 plus years to get this done right one time. You don't have to worry about the previous administration or plans or anything. You guys have that power. We have that power right now to do it right one time. So a lot of times when I see whether it's problems online or talking or the dispute between two sides, whatever those sides may be, the one side that we forget to look at is not the emotional side, and sometimes just straight logic and business, right? And a lot of times we get our emotions involved, and I get that. Like I said in the beginning, I've only been here 10 years, and I've seen great progress because I've only been here 10 years. Some of you guys have been here for 40, 50 years and are still waiting for progress, and I get that. And it can be irritatable. You guys have spent your lives, your family's lives, your childhoods, all here, and it's something that we should protect and shield. With that being said, like, you know, I heard right now there should be about X amount of rooms on the harbor. That's not how it works. I build hotels, I build placemaking. Sometimes it's not about the number, it's about a number. There's a formula to where you can actually make the money. Just 50 units, I can't just go build a hotel for 50 rooms. I'm not gonna make any money. It has to be at 80 or something like that. And that's where the formula and the numbers, it's no emotions, it's science. And sometimes we're forgetting that here as a city, that the science behind it, the logic behind it, and forget like the two sides, it just needs to make sense and dollars. And I think we forget a lot of the times where the money is coming from right now. The money is coming from the little that we have right now. And if we don't hold on to it and harness it correctly, we're gonna lose a lot more to the wayside. We just heard about our debt. Those numbers are staggering and scary. And yeah, this harbor is our opportunity, but it is our only opportunity to not be a pass-through anymore. It's in our name, but when I look at it, I've lived all over the world. And I still love my city. I still love Aransas Pass because it is that small city with big, like, world-class waterfront property. There's not any of this left in the world. And we don't need to reinvent the wheel. You go to Charleston, you go to Rockwall, Dallas, they all have harbors. They've built facilities, they've done all this before. We don't need to recreate the wheel. People have done it wisely, kept the community in mind, done a good job for the earth and for the health of the land near it too, because you should be able to fish. And people should be able to do those things like the tradition and the culture of the city. And there's a balance to keeping those two things together. Like he said, you know, I remember when I made the plan for this and when I was working on it years ago, I told them we got to stagger it. So the tallest buildings are at the top and the shortest buildings are at the front. So that way everyone gets a view. These are little things that make a huge difference, right? And where and what we put out there is going to be hugely impactful. I know from my own studies and feasibility reports, economic development, that residents change a whole economy, okay?
Mr.
If
Thacker,
we-
your 3 minutes are up.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Is that what that keeps going off for?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Thank you, Renee.
Hey guys, my name is Nestor Angel. I know some of y'all. So I've always said that Wheeler and Commercial need to be developed for the harbor, for something to happen in the harbor. I've been seeing Wheeler like really flourish lately. We have a bunch more businesses. We drive through there. You see a bunch more lights at night. I mean, it looks good. You guys have a really hard decision to make. But as long as we're focused towards tourism, I think we're going to be okay. And for me, if I was making that decision, I would want I would try to maximize the space because we don't have a lot of space out there. So try to do that. That's where I would look at. And we want things that are for our community, the parks, the piers. So we go fishing. We all love to fish here. This is a great community. So I give it to you guys. Y'all have a hard decision to make, and just make the best one for Aransas Pass. You're never going to be able to listen to everybody. If you listen to everybody, everybody's going to tell you, we need a Topgolf out there. We need a golf course out there. We need a skyscraper out there. It's never going to make everybody happy. Just make the best decision. Okay? Thank you guys.
All right, thank you, Nestor.
Thank you, Nestor.
Good afternoon, y'all. I'm Nancy Poe Gallen. My grandparents moved here in 1910. They got caught in a squall over in Port A, and my grandmother said, "Get me off of this island. I don't care where we're going." Well, they got on the mailboat the next morning and wound up in the harbor. And she said, "This looks like a good place to raise our daughters." So that's exactly what they did. And I have a question. I don't know if I can ask you a question, but
Sure.
about this property where you want to put the condos. Are we leasing it? Because I know we can't sell it. How long is the lease for?
Well, nothing's set in stone, but I mean, you could do a lease for 5 minutes or up to however many years you want. I mean, that's, all this is still up in the air,
Okay,
what's going on.
okay.
But yes, you can't sell anything around Con Brown Harbor because it's city property. It has to be in the form of a lease. Anything out there is in a lease.
Right.
And I
It's a
think
big
that a
investment.
consensus for all of us too is that there's never going to be, while we're up here, I mean, gates or where it's blocked off. It's always going to be open to the public. This is a preliminary, this map here, it's just preliminary and it doesn't show everything. But we're putting it where any businesses that come in, there's going to be boardwalks, there's going to be spaces that are saved for fishing docks, there's going to be almost that whole middle area saved for city property for future development of a park, for parking, for a pavilion. We've really tried to implement the community in it so that there always will be space for them and they will always be able to fish. They will always be able to utilize that property.
Right.
And so I think that's very important for the community to know that those things have never crossed anyone's mind to overlook.
Yeah. I know since the 80s, we've looked at least 5 different plans.
Yes, ma'am.
And they're basically the same but different.
Yeah.
You know, so
This one, the one that was one that's been implemented and it's
Sure.
been in our ordinances for years and it should have been taken out years ago because.
2015.
Yeah, since 2015 and it shouldn't still be in there because, well, first off, that developer's gone and everything's based on that one developer.
Yeah.
And, so we're just trying to get it up current and up to date, but also taking all the consideration.
Yeah.
And, but like I said, this has all come a little sooner. It was all in a preliminary process. It's not that it can't be changed. Nothing's been set in
Yeah,
stone.
'cause when
It's
you
just
said the
being worked
60
on.
houses.
No,
it's like-
that-
I don't remember talking about that before, the 60 houses.
Oh, there's more than that. On
Really?
that
Yeah.
map, what's in place right now that's allowed is, oh my gosh, 633. It's
Wow.
427 condos and 206 single-family residences. And that's one thing I know that we're talking about now. Single-family residence means people could have, the way it's written now and on that, they could actually own that. They would own the buildings and like I could go say, hey, I want to lease from the city and build a house there. But I would just be leasing the property, but I would be on it. That's, no, I know, can't do that. That's why we want to change it.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that anyone wants that. We
Nobody
don't
wants
want, and we don't want people to live there ever. So that's where the compromise with what we've heard of people wanting hotels. We've put space on there for hotels that's not on the inner harbor or on the water at all. And then there's space in there to allow for up to 50 short-term rentals.
And the
So nobody would ever be residing.
Well, the
the
only
harbor.
way you could do that where it's rock solid, because you can do all the policies you want, you get a new administration in here.
Exactly.
And we can change it.
Yeah, they can
And
go
that-
right back to this.
The only way you can make it rock solid is in the form of a charter amendment, period. That's all you can do. That's it.
Thank y'all
Thank
very
you,
much.
Nancy.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
very
Thank you,
much.
Miss Allen.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Hello, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Rhonda Hanson. I'm a local realtor. I'm also a resident here of Aransas Pass. I moved away for 25 years and I came back. My husband, as many of you know, Chuck Ford, and I, we moved back to the area. And I don't recognize Aransas Pass as I once knew it. When I moved away 25 years ago, I vowed to never come back, and now here I am now. So I state my position because I'm on the Board of Governors with the Coastal Bend Association of Realtors. I also serve on the Governmental Affairs as a member of that committee, and they have given me the position of the local political coordinator. I share this with you for my position as I'm to be the liaison for the property owners as well as the business owners and what's going to bring revenue to our community. And one wrong move, that can sabotage our entire community with one final blow. So with that being said, I am for short-term rentals. What I do feel that we need is more education, and this is in the preliminary stages of it. So that education is going to be coming, I have reason to believe, because we can't move forward on something that we're uneducated on. And yes, on the community page, we have several people that have perspectives, if you will. It's not concrete information. So I thank you for having this town hall so that we can be educated. I want to go back to the part where I once grew up here, graduated class of 91, showing my age here. So it was a different time back then, yes. Moved away for 25 years, but I still visited every single year, brought my children here to visit. And each year I saw the downslide of this community. It was so saddening every time I would return with my children. It became to a point where I no longer wanted to visit Aransas Pass. And being a realtor, no one wants to live in Aransas Pass. Whenever I share with them my listings, other realtors' listings, they said, no, we know too much about Aransas Pass. There's nothing there. There's nothing thriving at Aransas Pass. They want to go to Rockport, Ingleside. And I, in my position, I have to be very careful not to steer them away. I do want them to stay here because I see so much untapped potential on that harbor. It may not be skyscrapers, no, it may be single level condominiums, but that revenue is going to help this community. I think one gentleman indicated we cannot operate on emotion alone. No. Yes, there's a level of emotion. We are tied to old beliefs, but we need to move forward or our town is not going to be any longer. So, and again, I thank you for having this town hall.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Carol Salinas, the Aransas Pass, since 19 years ago, I guess. I came down here because I like to walk the beach. I like to go to the harbor. I like to watch the boats. I like to watch the boats when they were here. That was not an economic, that was a natural cause that the shrimp boats are no longer here. But I am against the short-term rentals. We have somebody who's going to be up there and renting this property, no matter how short it is. Then he has to have parking place for his renters. Then that parking place is going to be taken over by people fishing, so he's going to want to put some blocks up. Then he's going to want to put up a fence, and little by little it's just going to take over the harbor. I'm totally against this. Put restaurants, someplace that we can go and entertain ourselves, shops, but not rentals. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol.
Thank you.
My name is Susie Tollett. I've lived in Aransas Pass a long time. Thank you, Randy, Jason, for giving us this voice. I'm against short-term rentals. I'm in favor of developing the harbor. I have no problem with that at all. I think we need shops, we need restaurants, we need entertainment. It's a fishing, boating community, and we need to cater to that. I don't see where short-term rentals are gonna help one bit in the harbor. We can have them elsewhere in town, we can have them behind the harbor. There's a whole area back there that can be developed behind the seawall. That'd be a great place to put short-term rentals, condos, whatever, but not in the harbor. I wanna keep the harbor for the entire community to enjoy, not just a few. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Teresa Lidberg. I'm a resident here in Aransas Pass. And I want to say that I'm for the short-term rentals. I really want to see the harbor developed. I do like with the playgrounds and the parking areas and everything else like that, but I think it's important to kind of bring people down to that area. I know that we have like hotels and stuff else where around Aransas Pass, but I think just in the future looking that, once we're building up that area, I don't think that there would be anything wrong with a couple of hotels and stuff down there. But I don't know. I had a job down there too. I used to work at Gulf King as well, but I also know that the only time I do go down to Con Brown Harbor is like if I'm going to go fishing there at the pier or if I'm going to go visit one of the restaurants. With that being said, I think building and developing that area would be a great idea. So I'm really hoping, and I like what he was saying, that you get the chance to do it. You'll have the power to make the moves to do something now, today. So and I'm glad that y'all are having the city council or the town council meeting today. And I think just more education on what we're doing is a good idea. So, but thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Teresa.
I do want to point out, I asked everybody to look at their map. Here's the whole harbor. You see what's highlighted in pink? That's where we would like to see the short-term rentals, up to 25 of them. Each one of us has walked that property, and it's very narrow. It's only like 93 feet deep. It's not very narrow. There's not much that can go there. So to put some short-term rentals would be ideal. If, if we can get that far with this. And, oh, well, the rest of the harbor is shops. It's slated for, and again, this is all preliminary. None of this has been set in stone. These are just wish lists, if you will, based.
The reason that makes it hard for other developers that are going to want to go in there is because it is so narrow. And if you go in and you put a shop or restaurants, they have to follow ADA compliance, which means they'll have to have ramps and stuff. So the building itself would be very small. And from an economical standpoint, it doesn't make sense for an investor to sink that much money in it and then also pay a lease on top of it for the property for a 600 to 800 square foot place. They're not going to get their return of investment. And I think that's the biggest thing right now is that we can wish all we want. It's up to investors to come in. And investors aren't going to come in and just put restaurants and shops in because they will choke each other out. Because
Absolutely.
When someone comes in, they're going to go over to the harbor and they're going to visit one restaurant and then they leave. If we give them a place to stay, they will visit every place in there. They will walk around, they will rent scooters, they will go to each place and pop around. I go on girls' trips all the time. We look for places that we can stay and we can walk to and that we can visit multiple places at one time. We as a city don't have control of what investors come in. But from an economic standpoint, they're going to look at the analytics and they're going to say either this makes sense or it doesn't. And the reason nothing's down there right now is because it hasn't made sense to investors. So we need to make it where it makes sense so an investor can come in and they can create that atmosphere to make money. But also, we have to look at it. We want them to make money because we want them to generate revenue for this city. Because right now, when sales tax goes down, what that means is all our local businesses, their sales are down. And what happens when sales go down? Businesses close up. That's why our restaurants keep switching out because we don't support them well. Our sales tax are going down because our locals aren't supporting our local businesses. We're going to Target. I agree. I mean, but I don't know how we change that. That's not in the city's hands. So we're just trying to figure out a way.
Hang on, Lee.
No, and I agree. And I want to attract every demographic.
Hang on. Lee, hey, everybody in the audience, calm down.
I don't know what's going on.
All right, come on, Doug. Hey, everybody in the audience,
So
calm down.
as far as what I see here, I'm not honestly opposed to any of what I see here, really. I would like, you know, if these short-term rentals were somewhere else, but I understand what you're saying. I do think that if you're going to put a hotel in, well, a big problem I have is the kayak launch, dude. Don't put the kayak launch there. It sucks to have to paddle that whole thing to get out to fish. Nobody's going to use it that way. Like, put it on the outside. Trust me, if you want it to be used and useful, put it on the outside where you can get access to the flats. Like, that's why people are going to go there.
Yeah.
That's the only problem I really see. But even personally, I don't have a problem with, I think, saying 25 short-term rentals up here in this one spot right here. Like, Renee, I mean, there's no hotel that I know of that has 25 rooms. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't
Oh,
make
no,
sense,
the hotels
right?
could have more. They could. It's hotels and or. It would be.
So then I think
it's a
that's where
combined
people
area.
get confused. Is like we need specific. Like what I don't want to see is I don't want to see Port A. I don't want to see.
We will never be Port A. We can't be Port A. We don't have a beach. We will never be them, and we're not an island, and there's only two ways.
Where there's like, you know, they have zoning requirements of like height of buildings, height of signs and stuff.
Yep.
And like I would like to see a lot of thought put into that, so this place doesn't look
Good.
like Redneck Riviera. Well, not even that. I just don't want it to. I don't want it to look like. I don't even know what to call it. Kima. You know, I don't want it to look like that, to be completely honest.
Agree.
Like, you know, it should be like Charleston. You ever been there? Like somebody mentioned that earlier. That place looks, man, it's badass when you go down the boardwalk. There's restaurants, there's shops, and I think a lot of people do want to see that because it makes sense to advance the city. And I also second the area here behind the harbor. Like I know that's like 1 million people own that stuff, and it's like a crazy process of doing stuff. But man, that's an untapped resource right there that we have as well. What I would like to see is, so other question I have is, are these businesses, are they going to be responsible for the boardwalk, or like, you know, how do we get, so there's a lot of questions, you know, that come, like, because obviously it's not all going to happen at once. There's going to be buildings that fill in time by time, so then we have a boardwalk with like one section or whatever, you know, some thought needs to definitely be put into that.
Right.
But I want to say that I'm not against what I see here as a resident of Aransas Pass. I do think that public access and nobody being denied access to this harbor should be priority number one, always, and move the kayak launch. That's all I got.
Thank
All right,
you.
thanks,
Great
Doug.
questions. Thank you.
I want to make a statement so that you guys will understand also.
Yeah,
Excuse me
come
just a
on.
minute, Lee. I'm going to make a statement so that you guys understand. Short-term rentals do not generate income, taxable income, as much as a restaurant will or a shop will or a hotel. Correct. We are down in sales and everything else right now, but that is because of the economy. That's because of the war going on. There's a lot of things that are affecting it, and it's not only affecting us, it's affecting everybody in the United States. My pay has not gone up, neither is yours, but your bills have. We have a water problem issue right now here in South Texas. So there's a lot of things that are affecting what's going on right now, and it's not just because the city's not producing things like we used to. But now understand the other thing is we are promoting businesses down on the harbor. This is not going to be a blank harbor when we get done. And to say that this short-term rentals is going to be the save-all, I don't believe it is, because, like I said, it does not generate that much money for the city.
By allowing 50 short-term rentals, it will bring
Excuse
into the
me,
city
can
$3
I
to $7
finish
million
talking?
per year.
Can I finish talking?
Sure. I just wanted to let you know that.
You can do it after. The other thing is that once we get businesses down here, we will generate quite a bit of income. But that's going to take time. And to put 50, I thought it was 25, but now it's 50 short-term rentals, that is a 3-story job, not a 1-story. That's a 3-story building. It's 2 stories of short-term rentals and 1 story floor below to park vehicles underneath it. So if you could put that much short-term rentals in that space, you can put quite a bit of businesses in there also that will generate income. That's all I have to say. Next, you can go ahead, please.
Negotiations happen?
Do what?
Business versus short-term rentals, where there'll be a different lease negotiation?
Sarah, do me a favor, come up here.
What I want to know, Sarah, that is, I'm a long-term resident of Aransas Pass, 42 years. I think I left for a little bit and came home because this is my home. I have a family just on my mom's side of almost 300 people. Yeah, I have a very, very large family of just shy of 300 people just on one side, and we are from Aransas Pass. My family's been here over 100 years. I grew up on the harbor because my family was shrimpers. My cousins, my uncles, they were all shrimpers. And so the harbor holds a close place to me in my heart. I remember spending a lot of time down there. And I'll tell you that I am one of the few family members left that still reside here in Aransas Pass. Myself, my children, my other half, none of us work in this town. Why? We don't have, it's hard to say it, right? We don't have the jobs, especially not ones that pay enough for a family to create a great lifestyle for their own. And I'll say out of the 200 and something family members, I probably haven't this many that actually live within the city limits of Aransas Pass. And the reason that my family has chosen to leave the town is, for one, because of our education system. 2, back in the day, hood gangs were pretty prevalent. The violence, the drugs, all of those things were pretty prevalent in this town. And for those reasons, my family has chosen, as well as many of my friends that I graduated with, have chosen to leave this town. And a lot of them live a hop and a skip and jump away in Ingleside and Rockport and Portland and Corpus, because we have not moved this town forward in decades. This opportunity that you all have before you today, you don't get this opportunity every day. And I know we're talking about short-term rentals as a small piece of a larger project. And I'll tell you, when I first heard this, I was vehemently against it. I was in this camp, and I think about myself and I think about my children and the time that we would spend at the harbor as a single mom, making minimum wage at one time, thank God, not anymore. But as a single mom, I would take my kids there because we had free entertainment. We'd go fishing a lot of times. We'd walk on the harbor, we'd hang out, we'd watch the sunset. And for me, it was important when I'm hearing these plans that the developers that are coming in, we need to force them to make a commitment to reinvest. And from what it sounds like, it's probably what's going to happen. But short-term rentals are just a small portion of what is being offered here. The businesses down there, as you said before, are going to eat themselves alive. That's what's going to happen. We got to have a way and a reason for people to come and stay down at the harbor. I wouldn't want to invest in the harbor today. I wouldn't, because what's going to happen when we build a bunch of shops and build a bunch of restaurants and things like that, and people are only coming to go to one place. They're not going to survive down there. And for me, I am for short-term rentals. And Mr. Haskins and Mr. Knight, I voted for you two because I felt like you would come in and you would make the right decision for the city. And I'm going to tell you, a lot of times, I'm sorry, I respect the people in my communities and their intelligence, but you're there to make the decisions for the betterment of everybody, not just for one group. I don't agree with you, and I voted for you. I didn't vote for you.
Ms. Bettis, your 3 minutes are up.
I didn't vote for you. But what I'm saying is we trust y'all to make the right decision for our community, for the long term, not for right now. And this is the right thing for us to be doing right now.
Okay, thank you,
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Sarah. So one more clarification for those of you like me who have a hard time seeing the print on this map. On the thin pink, that is only up to 25 STRs. The other 25 will go, if this goes through, on top of the hill. So it's not like we're looking to put 50 STRs in that little pink zone. No, it's a very minimal number. And I just want to make that very clear to y'all.
All right, come on, Lee.
Hey, so y'all talking about short-term rentals, how are they doing right now? Why they not saving the town right now then?
We don't have them.
I know there's a lot of them around town, I know it. And we already had the discussion about the harbor. We had workshops. Where was everybody at when we had the workshops? Where were y'all at? Nobody, right? You remember workshops? Did you come to one? You come to one? Yes, sir. You came to one? See, not that many came to the workshop, but they want to be out there talking. Yeah, this harbor, no, sir. We need it for the people. That's y'all's problem. The people voted y'all in. They can vote y'all out. If they don't like what y'all doing, they vote y'all out too. That's why we wanted the other guys out. Because we didn't want them, because they want to do worse than this. That's why. Y'all need to just get over that crap already with sending crap in the harbor already. Get over it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lee.
How y'all doing? I'm Greenhill the Fourth, born and raised here. I'm for the short-term rentals. I think if you travel and you go anywhere, and you go to places like the harbor, you know, you want to be and stay where you're having fun, you know, where you want to be in the mix of where all the action is. So it's kind of a no-brainer. You know, if you go there and you're drinking and stuff like that, you may just want to kind of stay in the area, just be able to walk to wherever you're staying. A couple things that people have been talking about. The short-term rentals is really, you know, a small portion of this, you know, major thing that we're looking at. I have a question for you guys. How did we come up with this, what we're looking at right now?
It was started with us just looking at it and asking people, like, what do y'all want and not want? And then we had a meeting.
Workshops, that's what we had.
Oh, not that one. We're not talking about that one. On the one here is the one that you were talking about, Lee. That one's the one that's in place now that we're trying to change.
So basically,
But
just between you guys.
this was just this all came out before we could even put it to the public.
Okay, no problem.
But we could. It's just preliminary. It can still be
For sure.
changed.
I think when you're talking about something major like this, I mean, you got to really have like a consultant, somebody who's, you know, done something like this before. You know, I heard a lot of mention about Charleston. If that's something that you guys like, I mean, I challenge you guys, go take a visit there, walk around, see how you feel, stay there, things of this sort. Hire that consultant, you know, to come and give you a plan, you know, for
We're in
our-
the works of that also.
Oh, perfect, for our harbor. Another thing, let's see.
Not with a consultant, but with the grant. Once we start going with grants, yes.
I think
Get an
another thing that's
analysis.
kind of a misconception is if the harbor gets developed, it doesn't mean that, you know, the locals will no longer be able to fish there and things of the sort. I think that's kind of where the clash really is between the people and then the people who want it to be developed. I think, like people talked about, you know, if we have more of these, you know, so that we have a more education piece, you know, to give to the public, I think that really would help, you know, everybody kind of get on the same page. And that's pretty much all I have.
Thank you. And I agree. We had more coming. This just got put out before we were even close to having a real, like, plan in place. It was put out premature, and so, but we wanted to be able to give y'all what we already have working on.
This is not good utilization of space.
So.
Yeah, and that's why I really mentioned the consulting, because I mean, another thing too, when you talk about ordinances, you don't want, if you're going to be allowing different investors to put things in places, you want a cohesiveness. You don't want just one person
Right.
puts something that could be upscale and one person has something else that doesn't look as good.
Agree.
There's no cohesiveness for everything.
Agree.
So.
There is a very good development plan that was put out by consultants.
Josh.
It's called Navigate.
You know, step up
Yeah.
front.
It is on the website.
Hey, Carrie, step up to the podium, please.
There is a very good plan. It's called Navigate 2044. And it was done by consultants, and it is a very good plan to look at. It is all drawn out. It is 250 plus pages long. It goes through everything from downtown development, harbor development, environmental impact areas. It's a very good, very well put together.
And I think that was done like 2 years ago, if that. 2.5 maybe,
2-3
right?
years ago.
Yeah. No.
It was just a couple years.
A few years ago.
Yeah.
But a lot of that's utilizing private property. Yeah. No, but a lot of it was about private property, I think, too. The harbor side. I know when we looked at it.
Yeah, walk up, Josh.
Good afternoon. My name is Meg Reese. My husband and I, Ron, have been residents of Aransas Pass for about 10 years, and we like it the way it is. We came here because it's a small town, has a nice small town feel. And I have friends that live in Port Aransas, and based on the number, they got the number of short-term rentals, they let it get ahead of them. And so the number of short-term rentals, it impacted the average rental price, so people can't afford to live there. And they had, or still probably do have, issues with finding people to work in the restaurants because they can't live there, and they can get an equivalent job in Corpus Christi and not have to make that commute. And the sheer number of short-term rentals of people that live there full-time, it does impact their quality of life, especially during the summer. You know, the number of golf carts that run all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And so whatever development we do, we need to do it in a reasoned and thoughtful approach, not, and just to keep the city with the culture and the feeling that it has right now, and just to build on that. So,
Thank you.
Ma'am, can I ask you a question? Ma'am, can I ask you a question? Didn't they start out with a small amount of short-term rentals and it just kind of flourished?
I don't know the history of it. I knew I'm
It's
sorry,
okay.
I need to speak in the microphone. But no, I heard a speech from the mayor, and the mayor had for the Rotary Club here in Aransas Pass, and he said that they did not get ahead. They let it get ahead of them. That he wished that they had controlled the number of short-term rentals, and did it, and did it in a planned manner.
Yep.
Yes,
Thank you, ma'am.
you.
Oh, sorry about that. Good afternoon, Mayor, City Council. Thank you guys for showing up on a Saturday. Okay, I don't come up here too often. My name is Josh Tijerina, and I represent the ownership group of the Candlewood Suites. We, of course, heard about this as well and wanted to come up and I have a lot more to say about this that can be said in 3 minutes. And I appreciate those of you who have met with me privately, and I'm pretty sure when I reach out to others, y'all will too, so I do appreciate that. But this is kind of an if, no, maybe so, because we are absolutely for development. I think development's a great thing. When we invested here, Con Brown Harbor is what it currently is, and we still thought this was a great place to invest. If y'all don't move forward with this, we're still going to be happy here. If y'all do, I think that'll be a great thing. But I do have a couple of concerns, allowing any private developer to develop on public land without doing the math, I think is very risky. You should be leveraging your public land to increase your tax revenue, right? If you have a hole or a deficit to fill, developing this place will be great, but I want you to consider all the land that's outside of this drawing. Once you start developing, it will increase its property tax value, right? If you take out these STRs, I think this is a great plan. And if those people who want to develop those STRs then want to develop right across the street of this plan, guess what? That property tax increases again, a second time. And so now y'all are getting more property tax, you're getting hot tax, you're getting sales tax. It's all in there if you leverage the land correctly. And I'll be honest, if you look at other coastal cities who allow STRs, it's a complicated legal issue because you don't want other hotels and other STR owners in competition with the city. That's a very bad deal. That's a very bad look. And we would have a lot more to say about that if this went forward with that. There's also not a lot of demand for STRs right now. There just isn't. With the amount of rooms in this city, in this area, that are taken up mostly by laborers, the leisure market, I think this development will incrementally help the leisure market. I think it's going to increase pedestrian mobility And after that does, guess what? It's prime time for STRs to move in. And now they're going to be paying out more money. So I really just want y'all to consider that. If you're looking at filling a tax hole, make sure the math on this works out, because it looks great and it's beautiful and it's wonderful. But if a private developer ends up making more money than the city, well then that's a hole you're not going to be able to dig yourself out.
Yep.
So I really want y'all to think about that. We are for, I mean, this is a great idea. It just is. But the STRs, that's a whole different conversation. And I dare say now's not the right time for it. That is just my opinion. I love talking to y'all one-on-one if we can. Appreciate your time.
Josh, can you tell me that if something like this goes through, does it increase the value of the property inside the city where the citizens' taxes go up also, property tax?
Say it again.
If this is built, does it increase the property tax and it increases the property values and it increases the property tax on the citizens also?
Well, whoever owns that land across the street from this, if you build, right? You build something, guess what? The land next to it increases in value.
If an
Whoever
appraiser,
owns that land.
yeah, I mean, it could, but if a county
But it's
appraiser
not going to
drives
affect
by.
right here. Like building over there is not going to affect
I'm not
right
a tax
here.
expert. Let me
No,
also say
not
that.
down the road.
No.
Good questions, but again, I think
Scare tactics. Yeah.
if this, I think if this town hall makes you ask those questions and y'all go down a road where y'all research this more and more, I think it's a
Right.
good thing. So that's definitely a good question, Randy. I can't answer it.
Okay.
I'm not a tax appraiser, maybe one day. Again, y'all ever want to meet with me, again, I'm here.
All right.
Appreciate your
Thank
time.
you, Josh.
Thank you all.
Good day. John Sutherland. I'm a 4-year resident of Aransas Pass, and I want to thank you and citizens for being here today. Also want to thank you because as a recent resident.
Bring the microphone down a little bit, sir.
How's that? Is that better? We've seen improvement, and we've watched, and we've been hopeful. We've seen a lot of the derelict properties being cleansed. But I look at short term, and as I've been here today, I've learned more, and thank you for that. But it looks like these 50 units we're speaking of is your seed for making the development successful. And if it was a matter of units making a development successful, I look at all of the other short-term rental hotel rooms that are available in this city, and there's been no effort to bring in that activity that will then fill those rooms. And so, as a citizen, and this is a little difficult, harsh to say to you, but it's like, as a new citizen, I look to you to make the most of what you got before you start asking for more. Because based on track record, and I know y'all are not the ones who've been in position for 10 or 15 years, but we see a lot of properties that are underutilized, and you're looking at 50 more thinking it'll be the catalyst to make Con Harbor successful. But I think the things that'll draw the people aren't those 50 units. And maybe you need to look at, just from a different viewpoint, what are going to be the things that draw the people here? And then plan around that. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Paula Vandergriff. I've only lived here 40 years. But what I want to just ask, and you've been in a lot of the same meetings I have. You know, we had a big company come in. They wanted to build here. You remember this, Jason?
Yep.
And the problem was we don't have the power grid. And now we don't have the water. So my question is, will the development part coincide with the water issues that are raging? And the power grid, who pays for all of that? Like if we're going to develop down on, who ends up having to bring in all the power lines and all that? I mean, how does that go back to the city or state or what?
That's one of those deals. This isn't even like into discussion right now. That's part of the negotiation deal. I mean, you know,
Does the state have any say-so on building a big strip like this with the water restrictions as they are right now?
that's Corpus, because we get our water from the San Pat Municipal Water District. They buy their water from Corpus. So whatever guidelines Corpus sets, their customers have to follow.
Will that affect water bills on my table or in your business or having a lot of more businesses in? Will that
Well, the
change?
big, I mean, I know this is, I guess I can answer you, it's different. The main thing that's affecting water bills is if Corpus is gonna get their act together or not.
Yeah,
and
thank
get
you.
more water. I mean, that's what it all comes back to.
Indeed.
Yep.
Indeed. Anyway, that was my concern. You'd hate to have a bunch of people come in here and then all of a sudden everything goes skyrocket. You say, well, we can't get the power over here, right, and all that.
Right, I see what
Anyway,
you're saying,
that's all I
ma'am.
wanted
Thank
to
you.
say.
Thank
I
you.
think it's important for everyone to know that we don't have developers right now to come in and develop everything. This is just to make a map.
I'm
and-
just thinking
Yeah.
long range.
And we're just picking sections that then this would be allowed, so that, that it doesn't end up looking
Well,
like the map
I
that's in
don't
place
know
right
how
now
much it
unless-
takes in water and electricity to run a hotel or
Yeah.
anything. That was really
Yeah.
the reason
No,
I
and
questioned that.
I don't know, and we don't have, we don't have we don't have all the developers that are wanting to come in. This is just to make a map, so if a developer comes in and says, I want to build a hotel, okay, well, give us your plans, and this is the section we're looking at right now. And that's still, it's still preliminary. That could change.
No,
You know,
I was
we could
just
get enough people
wondering,
that say, hey, I want it
the feasibility of running
different
it on
spots.
Right.
the front.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
we don't.
Thank you, Ms. Paula.
This is just more to make
Thank
the
you.
map so that when developers come in, it's already showing them, hey, these are the areas we think would be great for just your shops, your restaurants. This is the development. Here's if you were gonna do short-term rentals, here's the areas we would allow that. Here's the area for hotels, that kind of thing. So that's really what it's more about, the map allowing where that's gonna go, because we don't have developers right now that are ready to come in and just develop the whole thing at all.
It's gonna be years.
Yeah, it could be years before that's ever happens. We're just trying to lay out a plan
Come
that
on, Will.
hopefully we get the right developers, and as they come in, it will bring in other developers.
Okay. I traveled, I used to,
Hey, do me a favor, state your name, Will.
Will Garner. I used to travel when my dad owned Race Car Products, and I did many trade shows. And the one thing I looked at when we went to the city, because I was young, let's get real, that's who this would probably bring in if we did this, how close everything was to the bars. I wanted to find the nearest, so I didn't have to drink and drive and put people in danger. So if we're going to develop the harbor, which I think we do, to say, no, let's don't put nothing down there for its housing or motels or anything, is irresponsible on the citizens, because that's asking for accidents and asking for other stuff. So I want to say thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Will.
Great point of view.
Okay, anybody else wish to speak on this?
We're departing.
Oh, okay. See you later, Nancy.
Thank you, Miss Allen.
Thank you, Nancy.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name's Skip Tillett. I've been a lifelong resident of Aransas Pass. Close to 73 years. The lady that just left beat me, but that's all right. There's been a lot of good information come out of this meeting, and I'm going to make it short and sweet. A couple of things. One of the things that another gentleman said was about the development inside the seawall for condominium, short-term rentals, that sort of thing, I think would be a better option. It looks to me like that in the grand scheme of things, that if you look at the whole picture here, the short-term rental discussion is a very small piece of the whole thing. Therefore, why do we need it? If everything that's been said about this, as far as what really makes the money city, the most income revenue for the people of Aransas Pass, then that's probably what we need to do. I realize that the property I'm talking about inside the seawall is owned by a lot of different people, and I'm sure that's going to be a challenge to get through that, to be able to utilize it for the most. But in my opinion, what I see here, I wish I'd have seen this before I walked in the room. What I see here is a very good start. You know, you're mapping it out, you're going through the motion, and you're also getting our input. I personally am against the short-term rentals. I don't, it just doesn't seem to make sense to me inside the harbor. I see the short-term rentals, like another gentleman said, very close to where I live, that might be full, might have people in one day on a weekend. And I know that will increase once we have more to offer down there, and that is the place to offer it. That's the place to do it. And you know my opinion now, so keep up the good work.
All right, thank you, Skip.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Myron Schrader, resident of Aransas Pass, wanted to just give my opinion. I'm not a big fan of the short-term rentals down in the harbor. I don't think it's going to draw a lot of people, and if there's only 25, yeah, it'll help a little bit, but I don't think it's going to make a big difference in the amount of money that the city's going to make. And my big concern is the development along the waterway, the view of the water. And if businesses are put there, that's going to block everybody's view of the water. And so I would prefer have that more of the park area and the center part developed.
Okay.
So anyway, that's my opinion, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Myron.
Thank you.
Hey, anybody else wish to speak?
Yeah, Andy, it's open.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah, come up here, Andy.
Couldn't this be put on an amendment and have a vote on it? Whether it's next week, after the election,
Charter amendment.
before the election, or whenever y'all do it.
It'd probably have to be a charter amendment, I would think, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just a suggestion, because if the vote is what it is, and most of the people I've heard today don't want it,
Yeah.
and y'all are outnumbered that they do want it, then we're gonna have something voted on that we don't want as citizens.
Yeah.
So, in my opinion, I'm sitting there
Yeah, this
thinking,
isn't going to.
maybe at the end of the day, whatever it takes to put on one of those amendments and let at least have maybe this many people go in there and vote their way on it, and then our voice will be totally heard. And whatever the outcome is, if I lose what I want, I'll be happy, because they're the ones that want it.
Yeah.
Just my opinion. Thank you.
Thanks, Andy.
Thank you.
I think the purpose of this meeting today was to hear from the citizens and what the citizens wanted to see at the harbor.
Right.
And we've done that today. I don't know if the comments are done yet or not. I know me and Mr. Isasi were keeping a tally, and I think there's about maybe 9 that are against it and 7 that are for it, and there's maybe 4 or 5 that are neutral.
Okay.
As far as, and we're going to continue to have more meetings. This is
Right.
just a preliminary discussion. You
Right.
know, this is just the first meeting that we had. We weren't fully prepared to have this meeting. We were still working on the plan. But nevertheless, you know, we had the meeting. As far as putting it before the voters, I'm going to ask Mr. Isasi. I'm not so sure whether this would be a charter amendment, perhaps maybe a proposition, but we're going to continue to have more meetings.
Right.
This eventually, if if this does go forward, it would still have to go through the planning and zoning, because we would be amending the Harbor Overlay District, which is this map that you see up here in the front. So
Right.
there's going to be a series of more meetings before it comes to council for a final decision.
Right, right. Thank you, Mayor.
But I guess I'll refer to Mr. Isasi. Should the council decide to put this before the voters, whether it would be a charter amendment or simply a proposition?
I think the council could proceed by way of a special proposition without having to go through the full charter amendment and all that.
For this election?
If we,
I
I
know.
think this would be too late for
It's
this election.
too.
Right, that's kind of what I was thinking too, 'cause we're at crunch time.
What does
Yeah.
that mean, a special proposition? What's the difference between that and a charter amendment?
But the charter amendment, you have a committee that's formed, and they review the whole charter and make recommendations to the council as to what they think should be changed. The council goes through that, and I think they do that every 2 years.
Yep.
That needs to be done this year, by the way.
Correct.
What's that?
It needs to be
year.
done this year.
Okay. So then the council will hear all those recommendations and decide which ones shall they put out to the voters, and the voters will decide whether they want to change that amendment or not, okay? They can do it that route, or go through a special proposition at the next election.
Which is really just ask the question,
Yeah.
really, that's what it is. That's what
You
a
ask the
proposition would
question,
be.
and the voters say for or against.
So it's just a for or against vote
Yeah.
that comes up, so.
Pretty much, yeah.
But it doesn't determine it, like, it doesn't mean anything, basically, like, it doesn't, like,
Well, if the voters say, no, we don't want it, then
Can't build it.
typically the council will listen to that, right? 'Cause that-
It's-
that's what the voters decided on.
Yeah, it's just like in,
I didn't hear that.
The details would still have to be worked out, right? Just like you
Yeah.
were saying, well, we could do something and then somebody else come in 2 years later and just get rid of it, unless it's,
well, you'd have to put it back on the ballot, 'cause it's like the reason you can't sell the harbor, 'cause there was a charter proposition done in 2006 or 7, because there wasn't any.
Goes through, then you would amend the charter again in 2 years, or like that's basically the next move, or?
No, because the proposition goes through, that's controlling.
Yep.
That's what that
If
controls.
it goes to a proposition vote,
Right.
and it's the citizens vote on it, yea or nay, then that's absolute.
Right.
It's not taken as a recommendation, it's the voters decide.
If it's in there, you can't go to a council and say, we want to build a house, whatever, you can't do it, because you'd be violating the city charter.
Okay.
Exactly.
Isn't this development on the agenda for Monday night?
Yes, it
The
is.
map? I'm sorry. The map? Or where's-
Yes, it is, Carrie.
The map or the one that was talked about online or whatever?
There, on the Monday's meeting, on the agenda, there is a
Well, at
deal
this
about
point-
the harbor.
Yeah, at this point, being that those are negotiations that we have ongoing, I
Okay.
would recommend that we not discuss that
Okay.
at this point. Because we've discussed a bunch of that during the executive session as well.
Right. Right.
But it is on the agenda.
Okay, does anybody else have anything to say on short-term rentals at Cumberland Harbor?
I just have a question.
Sure, come up here, Sarah.
If, I know a lot of the comments, there's a number of comments, but a lot of the comments were, we don't want to obstruct views. If we don't do short-term rentals, what goes there? Businesses? Because I'm going to tell you, I can't see the harbor from in front of any restaurant or anything that's already currently down there. So if that's really a valid concern, it's going to be obstructed no matter what.
Thank you,
That's
Sarah.
why we want them to put the boardwalks, so that hopefully, and of course, it will be spotty. Yeah, but I mean, until they're all connected, but we want there to eventually be a boardwalk that goes around so that will always, the views will always be there. And so, but you're absolutely correct, like, then if it's about the views, then we could never develop any of it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's my understanding, whatever this
Mhm.
developer is wanting to do or propose is also investing in other areas of the harbor that continue to allow it to be accessible to the public. That's what was important to me. We have deep roots here. It has to stay accessible to the public, point blank.
I agree.
And I don't know, however many other developers are out there that are willing to invest in the city and other areas of that harbor. That's why this is the right time to do this. We need someone who's gonna go in there and start.
Thank
Nobody
you,
else is
Sarah.
gonna come in.
Okay, thank you, Sarah.
Good point.
I want to say something about that too, real quick. When you're developing and you try guys starting something, it's something I had spoke to some of you guys when I came up there. Like, you can come with a $30 million deal, but if there's nothing there to anchor us down there on the harbor, no one's gonna come and develop. No big name's gonna come, no one's gonna come. The other thing is, like, when I find out that there's leases going out and things are being negotiated, nothing against whoever's negotiating it or whatever, but I don't think the general outside of Aransas Pass even knows what we're trying to do on the harbor. And you have big developers in the city, you have the Lomaxes, you have all these guys that put out really good products in this city that can come and do something. And when I talk to the Lomax brothers, they're like, what? There's a place on the harbor? So there's a gap between what the public knows, what we know, and what the right people, like the developers that are out there that would come and put the money here, know too. And I think closing those gaps is going to be really crucial in getting the right names and the right people up here. And as far as short-term rental, and I don't know if I touch on this, I agree with Josh. I don't think this is the right space inside the mix. Like I said, the utilization of the space I don't think is the best. Put them up at the top, put them in the back, and let them take some more space, and then they can go taller too, so we can keep the view of the water. And I think that's all I got.
Thanks, Renee.
So one of the things I think has not been publicly addressed, and most of you who've walked the harbor know, if you walk that bulkhead, there's a lot of deteriorating spots on the harbor, which means that if we don't find the money to shore that up, literally, and reinforce it and build it, then you're not going to have much of a harbor anymore. The roads are going to start to crumble, the existing infrastructure there is going to start to crumble, and you're not even going to be able to get boats in and out of there eventually.
Yeah, and I've talked to a couple state representatives and senators, because you're exactly right, and bulkhead is not even close to cheap. And I'm not going to lie, that's a tough hurdles to get done, because well, and if somebody wants to dump out about $20 million check to fix it, I mean, I've been sitting up here almost 7 years, and that's something that's been on my back of my head forever. And even people that have been sitting up here, and that has been a hard thing to address, is get funded for bulkhead, because it's expensive. Okay, anybody else wish to speak on this?
Let's just show of hands. Okay, we're through with all the talking, I guess. There's a lot of people here that didn't talk. Can I ask for a show of hands of who does not want short-term rentals, so we can count you?
I think you need to be clear, on the harbor or off the harbor?
I mean on the harbor. I'm sorry.
Does not want it on the harbor?
Right.
But are you talking about in the map, like, Renee, are you talking about on private property or city property?
As proposed, I don't think it should be on the harbor. I think we should
But
be
in the
outside
city
the harbor.
property part, like where the other pink is fine?
Yeah.
Okay, so that would still be.
That's still city property
That's-
right there.
Yeah, that's still city
all
property. So,
yeah.
Okay, we're talking about on the harbor. I'm sorry, can I see it again?
the whole map that's
Oh,
outlined.
Could I see a show of hands for those that didn't talk and did talk, for those that do not want short-term rentals on the harbor? Okay, those that do? 11 to 25.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, those undecided.
There you go.
I didn't think of that, thank you.
Yeah.
I think that's valid. Absolutely.
On the off harbor.
Hang on, everybody. Shh.
On the off harbor section, not the strip on the harbor, on the off harbor section, how many people are for that short-term rental?
On the other side of the seawall.
Hey, Larry.
The top corner.
Every
Top corner right there where the mayor's
that's still on the harbor. That's still city property.
No,
But not
Every-
everyone's looking at it that way.
Yep.
Hold on a minute.
Yep.
What do you want to know? Come up here and show us.
That's still.
That's city property.
So what I'm asking is, So this is what
They want.
They don't.
They do want.
Right.
That's city property.
Yeah, well, so this is not on the harbor, it's across the road.
And most of that's wetlands.
Yeah, we're talking about, now up here is fine.
Yeah.
We don't care about up here. You're not on the harbor. And you can go big as you want.
People put behind the scenes. That's all they do. And that's what a lot of people
That's where the
say.
railroad is.
Right.
Railroad's right here. They're saying between the railroad and the seawall. A lot of people build the houses here to support the harbor on Boston. Right? That's what a lot of people have been telling me for years and years. No, here. Let me write it down.
Ladies and gentlemen, anybody got anything else? That would have made a difference. Wouldn't it? It would have.
All right. Come down. Hey, the hammer works. Okay, now does anybody else have anything else they'd like? I'm hurrying. Okay, now we'll open up to discussion on anything in town. Does anybody have anything to say about anything at all? Okay, come on.
Mary, did you want to see this?
All right, just one thing that I was talking to one of the council members about. And like certain activities are going to start happening on the harbor, they already are, right?
Mhm.
So, and then somebody was saying something about all the strippers and stuff earlier and all the people that have been lost at sea over the years and how they got this stuff set up for them down there. But you can go by there, I could go by there 20 times without thinking, it comes to my thought, whoa, those are the people in that.
Memorial Tower?
Yeah.
Yep.
So I was thinking, I was talking to this council member about it. I don't know how good of an idea is out there. I'm just gonna throw it out there and walk off. Like y'all having activities up there now, maybe buy a bell or something, and once a year, once every 2 years, starting with the mayor and then down with the council members and maybe city manager and whoever else wants to go up there and ring the bell after you name these people's names that went out to sea and never came back home. That
Be a
lived
good
here.
idea.
Yeah.
I like it.
That lived here
Yeah,
and
that
did
would
all
be.
that to help build the harbor the way it was.
Yeah.
For the ones that,
If you know Ramsey's going for no shrimpers, so.
Right?
and that's
Right.
why it'd be something, I think, to honor those people. I mean, they're honored right now, but just to remember them once a year, I think that would be amazing for them people because
Yeah.
they're the ones that fought and they left their families and their kids and their wives or their husbands even. And some of them went out and never came back. So this is
Okay.
all.
Thanks,
Thank you, Andy.
Andy.
It's a great idea.
Yeah.
We'll put you in charge of that, Andy.
One more thing, Councilman Haskins, you made a comment about the property value in the area raising because of short-term rentals or whatever goes out there. For the harbor, you want it to be, taxed pretty much as high as possible. You want the tax value to be, I'm not sure what you guys value it would be.
Well, it's tax, the land's tax exempt, city property's tax, just the improvements are taxed.
Oh, gotcha.
Yep.
Okay, so there won't be any tax
No,
rate.
sir.
It'll be they'll pay on the buildings. Whatever they build, they'll pay the property
Yeah.
tax
Pay on the
not
building, okay.
actual-
'Cause
on
that's all-
improvements.
Yeah, I was
Any
going to mention, because when you
Yep.
talk about our neighboring cities like Ingleside, they have a base tax rate because the refineries and
Mhm.
Rockport, their tax base is higher because of, the waterfront homes and things of the sort. So
Yep.
whatever, tax base we can get from this, that'll help, the citizens, to lower their tax rate percentage because ours is higher
Right.
compared to our neighboring citizens.
Right, right. Thank you,
Well,
sir.
Green Hill, the reason I asked that was a couple of years ago, my taxes went sky high on my properties. And when I asked Centon about it, they said it was because somebody from California came in and bought that wetlands behind the railroad track property
Gotcha.
for, I guess, for a cheap price or something, but then sold it to another person for a lot of money. That in turn raised all of our taxes in the
Close by
city.
area.
And that's what Centon told me. It's why I was asking about this, if anybody knew, because I don't know.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Okay, does anybody else have anything they wish to say?
Sorry, guys, I just want to mention one thing. I want to reiterate something. The area where it's 90 feet from the water that they have, if you were to build businesses right there, You got 25 feet of parking in front of the business, and then you have, what does that leave you, 60 feet to build from the water you're building? That's not a lot of room. I mean, what kind of business would go in there?
None. It wouldn't be feasible.
How can you, what kind of business, I can't think of anything that would go there, you know?
And they're gonna have to build up there too because of the FEMA floodplain. So for ADA, they're gonna have to put ramps to get up
Yeah.
into the business. So
I
it's not a
I like
very
the idea.
marketable
I
area.
have short-term rentals, and I love my short-term rentals. I own 2 restaurants. I own a bunch of short-term rentals. The short-term rentals are cake. They make good money. They, you know, they're good for the city. Brings a lot of people here to spend money. If I was a business down there, I would want somebody to be able to walk to my business and be like, "Hey, I'm going to spend some money here." You know, it's yeah, I think that would be really good for our town.
Okay.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Nestor.
Thank you, Nestor.
Thank you.
Anybody else wish to speak? No? That's it? Okay, well, I guess we'll adjourn this meeting then.
Thank you guys very
Thank you for
much.
coming.